Welcome back. I started to record my next video, but then I got a phone call and I'm recording with my phone. So I'm just going to start over. And there were two things that really happened. The first one is I reminded everybody that I took this Australian infantry on purpose and said that it was supposed to go to New Guinea. And then when I did my movement step, I forgot to say it was moving to New Guinea. So I asked for some forgiveness because that was my intention. And yeah, now that I know a battle at New Guinea is happening, this is extra important that that happens. But that was always my plan all along. It was just a oversight on my part. So I have infantry landing on New Guinea. I don't know if it'll help, to be honest, but that was the plan. And then the other thing is we're resolving this battle. And I rolled there's going to be 2 battle turns, and I just drew this as their battle plan, which is a useless one, helping them with dogfights. All they have is 2 battalions on a transport, so this should be pretty easy to do. So the first thing that happens is we're going to do bombing runs, and those bombing runs are going to be done by this, which has an attack of 4, and there's 2 carriers, so there's going to be 4 of these. So 4 4s, and then we're going to have torpedo bombers. I'm just trying to find one so you can see it again, and we're going to have 2 3s, okay? So that's the bombing run, and then I even have these planes that are on midway, which is another 4 and another 3. So 5 4s and 3 3s, okay? And we just need to hit this transport ship twice. So let's do the 3 3s. There's 2 hits right there. The game's over. So we just sunk the transport and both of their battalions along with it. So I think they misunderstood which island they were supposed to go to, and they came into a hornet's nest. So we totally overkilled that battle. But now we're going to move on to the battle I'm more nervous about, and that's this New Guinea one. And we already have New Guinea. We don't have any Japanese forces ashore this time, so that's not an issue. And here's 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I'm going to reduce that to 6. So there's the planes for us. I have a transport trying to land back here. And then they have a transport trying to land here with 3 infantry on it. And then Carrier Fleet 5, I'm grabbing right now. So the carriers, of course, are going to be up top, and these are 2 full-blown carriers, full strength. And yes, so who has the best anti-air? We don't know. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. 1 2 3 1. So the destroyer goes up, the battleship goes here, and then the cruiser goes up. So yes, 2 of their escorts are going to go up to the carriers. Only one of them is going to participate in the land battle, but it happens to be the best one. He has a battleship value of 6, which is pretty difficult. Okay, the number of battle turns for this. I rolled a 4. That turns into 2 battle turns. That's not much. I'm okay with that. And then they have 1 2 3 4 5. They have 8 units, so they're going to get 2 battle plans for this battle. Okay, so let's start off with drawing their battle plans. Oh no, we have to buy ours first. So all we have is planes. So we can reduce the number of battle turns by 1, or increase it, I guess. Or we can do some stuff to help our planes. So for example, we have the dogfight one, which is a candidate. We could spend a point to get an extra set of battle plans. So let's just see what else we have. Obviously we have the stop 1 hit. A bomb does 1 extra hit. I really like that one. Stop a hit on an aircraft. Stop a hit on an airfield. And other than adjusting the battle duration, we do have some infantry ones like artillery and reroll or do extra attacks. But with only 2 battle turns, our infantry is the only thing that would work would be artillery. But let's say I spend that point and I get 6 battle points. I do 3 for the diving attack. This damage control would go away. I do 1 for the dogfight, and then it's just either stop a hit on an airfield or stop a hit on an aircraft, which both more or less mean the same thing. I would stop a hit on an airfield because I think that's the bigger one. So let's say I do that. So I'm going to spend this point, which I have to confess, if you can find it within you to save that battle point or supply point, you get these extra battle points. It is actually quite nice. But anyways, let's go ahead and set these aside like this. Now we're going to draw their battle plans. So their battleship is going to hit with a +3 and extra anti-air on their rolls. And oh my gosh, they get extra in their bomb rolls and dogfight. Those were the 2 worst ones to draw. I'm not happy about that at all. I should have taken the one that reduces the number of turns now. So here's one carrier group that has a torpedo. Oh, and somebody corrected, it's not, the Bettys were the land-based bombers. They were the VOW, and oh, I forgot what the other one is, but the VOWs were the dive bombers, and then the torpedo bombers were the Kates. So there was Kates and VOWs. So I always got those wrong when I kept calling them Bettys. So thank you for that clarification. And that's a 0. So yes, we have 2 full-blown sets of planes from them, and they're going to get extra dogfight and bomb rolls. I'm not happy about that at all. So everything that could go their way has so far. So as far as like what I'm going to do, all my planes are going up against their battleship. I'm going against the coast. We're going to try to sink that transport and battleship. It's that simple. I'm not worried about my airfields. I'm also protecting my transport in the process. I'm not worried about their carriers. It would be nice to hit their carriers. It really would. But we don't have good sea attack values at all with any of these planes. So these are all land-based aircraft. So that's what I'm going to do. Now let's roll for their first carrier group. What are they going to do? They're going after the island. So first carrier group is attacking the island. Second carrier group is also attacking the island. So all their bombers are going up against the island. And then the first fighter group is supporting the island. Second fighter group is going after us. Okay? No, I'm sorry, that needs to be a 6. So I rolled a 1, they're going on the island as well. Boy, it would have been nice to go after those carriers, but so our island airports are in trouble, but we sort of knew that that was going to be the case. The furball thing isn't going to really work because there's no actual dogfight. So dogfight phase, nothing happens. Anti-aircraft phase, their battleship gets to roll anti-aircraft. They get a +2 to their roll. It's normally a 2 and now it's a 4. And I rolled a 5. That's a thumbs up. So we made it through. And now we get to bomb it, but so do they. So let's do them first. They get to roll 2 2s and 2 4s. But because of the tactic, it becomes 2 4s and 2 6s. So let's do the 2 4s first. That's 1 hit. And then the 2 6s is 2 more hits. So they did 3 hits against our airfield. We're going to stop one of those hits. So now they did 2. So that means 2 of our planes are going to be destroyed. So this 5 becomes a 3. And we're going to have to take 2 hits to our airfield. Out of all the possible options, that's not the worst. The worst would have been their Zeros attacked our bombers and damaged them. So as far as our bombers are going, I know it's probably hard for you to see those little numbers through the camera, or maybe you can. but we have a 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones. We need to hit with at least one of them, folks. Ideally 2 of them. If we do 2 of them, we can kill the transport. And, oh no, we would need 3 to kill the transport. And the reason being because we inflict an extra hit. So just 1 hit will sink that battleship. So we're doing 6 ones. Let's go, baby. There's a 1 right there, and then the other die needs to be re-rolled. There's another 1. I got 2 so far. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Big time, big whammies. Big bucks, no whammies. Stop. Oh, okay, none of those hit. Okay, we did 2 hits, and I'm definitely playing this to do an extra hit. So this battleship, which has a value of 3, is sunk. The Nagato Mutsu. There's a pretty formidable battleship there. And we actually did do 1 hit on the transport. That's not enough to sink it, and I don't think there's anything else we have to hit it. So the forces are going to land on the beach. So I wonder what happens. I mean, because we hit that transport, I guess, yeah, it's not, I don't think it damages the troops on the transport, or do they land damaged? I don't think they do, to be honest. But out of the hopes that this is another rule that I just haven't been paying attention to, I'm going to check. Each hit inflicted on a transport inflicts 1 hit on one of the infantry counters it is carrying. Good thing I checked. So every hit on a transport inflicts 1 hit on the infantry it's carrying. So that would be one of the battalions. Because you still use the brackets to determine which one's which. All right, so the good news is that battleship doesn't get to attack with the extra +3. And these plans are out. We still have the dogfight one. We move to the final round of the battle. So Japan is going to roll 2. Or, sorry, draw 2. First one is we're not allowed to attack in the ocean, which sort of stinks. But the next one is if there's infantry ashore, they're going to get a successful attack against us. Well, this one's easy. We're just going against the island, and I have to pick 2 things to die. So it's going to be the 1-2 bomber here. And these 3 1-4s are powerful. So I'm going to take one of the escorts out as well. I know that's risky, but that's what I'm going to do. So those are going to have to get rebuilt by us. So yes, we're down to 4 planes. And yes, we're staying on the island. We're going after their infantry. And then for them, they only have 1 target, and that is the island. So everything is coming after us. We could not go after the carrier because of that battle plan they drew. But this is bad because the 2 zeros here are going to be quite devastating. And yes, we're going to do dogfight now, and they have 2 8-4s. And then I have a 5-3, so I'll use this one for the 5-3. So hit, that's 3 hits, and then I missed. And that is not good. So they did 3 hits, so we lose that, and one of these is flipping. All right, so then they're going to roll 2 4s and 2 2s. So let's roll their 2 2s. There's 1 hit, and 2 4s is another hit. So they did 2 hits against our airfield. So this is now a 2. So we're going to lose another one of our planes. And we have 4 4 and 2. So here's the blue will be the 2. And we do get a hit. So that hit, from our perspective, destroys their battalion. Okay, and then that's going to end the round. All of our infantry were on the beaches, so they don't get to attack. And I will have to destroy one more plane, which will be this one. But it's going to end with us having 2 planes and an infantry on New Guinea. And they're going to have these 2 infantry on New Guinea. And of course, all of these are just carrier planes that are with their carrier group. In 1942, the carrier groups are extra nasty because the Zeros are just so good. We haven't talked about the transition to 43 and how that works yet, but one of the things I can tell you is that for the Americans, every single upgrade to 1943 is either as good as it was in 42 or better. Every one. There is one cruiser that got worse in every category. I think it's a typo. But for the Japanese, though, the opposite is true. Every single upgrade is either just as good as 42 or worse. Like a lot of the upgrades are especially for like the Zeros are not as good in 43. And I think it represents that the American planes were better in 43 and, you know, we had better tactics. I get all that. It's just that the point is that they're at their best in 42. So, okay, that's New Guinea. And yes, they'll get to start with an extra plane because of this rule next round. But for this round, it sort of worked out. We sank a battleship. To be quite honest, we lost a few planes that we could eventually replace, but we sank a battleship, and I'm okay with that. I think that was a good outcome. We made Carrier Fleet 5 a little bit less powerful. And by sinking that battleship, it makes them more vulnerable for an attack. But we're done, and now we go to the reinforce step. And yes, they're going to get more stuff. I rolled a 3 plus a 12 is 15. So 2 more ships come out. And yeah, that battleship's going to get replaced. And then 2 infantry are coming out. And 2 planes come out. So there we go. Okay, so the battleship is being replaced by the Yamato. So actually Carrier Group 5 just got upgraded big time. But see, here's the cool thing though. That Yamato would have normally gone onto the Battleship Fleet 1 sheet. Because if all of these fleets were full and there was no empty battleship spot, he would have reinforced the other sheet and made that one even more powerful. And then we have an escort cruiser, or I'm sorry, carrier, and that's going to go into Carrier 2. So they're now loaded with ships, no matter which one. There's a part of me that thinks, okay, I'm not interested in scouting anymore. But I still see the value because, as you guys said, I can at least take 4 of them and force them to stay in Japan. And in doing so, by forcing the 4 of them to stay in Japan or whatever, they're at least, I can guarantee I'm not going to have to face them this turn. And because the problem with not doing scouting on any of them is that 3 of them could end up in Midway, which is what happened in that last game. And what I'm thinking is, because when you pick the ones that are already in Japan, those ones stink because if they get like a support or a withdrawal, then it becomes a hold and they get to add +4. Whereas if you pick something that's already out here, you can force them to hold or withdrawal. But the good news about it is it's out here, and so it won't turn into a hold action. So that's just some food for thought, and I do like those thoughts. So we'll have to factor that in for the next turn. I don't think Japan has any reinforcing or repairing they need to do. Right now, we only sank 1 battleship for them, and that's it. So our ships come back. These ones are coming out for duty. And these ones are coming in. And so far, our ships really haven't gotten much action other than in New Guinea. So Coral Sea stuff. And it's interesting because if we would have committed to Coral Sea, we really could have gotten some nice combat there, but it's just so hard with the Midway threat. So, and I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to leave Midway undefended. So with that said, Japan only has one more carrier they're going to produce. So by the virtue of just running out of pieces, the threat from Japan is now at an end for 1942. And we still got 1, 2, 3, 4 more turns. So the last carrier will come out here. And then we'll have 3 turns where they don't produce any new ships. And then for us, we're just starting to think about producing ships because we're moving to May, June. We do the supply, and all but one gets to move. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, and then 1, like that. So I have 3 infantry coming out on the board, all American. I like it. And one of those is the Marines, which I also like. And we get, for this turn, we now get 21 points. So I'm going to set aside the 4 points, like we always do, for the scouting. And actually I'm going to set aside 5 points because I like getting the extra battle plan. So 5 points are being set aside. So 21 minus 5 is 16. I always get nervous when I'm on camera. I'm doing 3rd grade math and I'm going to screw it up. So 16, 10, 15, and 16. Now, I would really like to get this industry to the point where I'm no longer getting delays. So if I do that, I'm putting 10 points there, and I only have 6 points left. With the infantry perspective, there's only 1 more infantry to build for 2. So now I'm down to 4 points. And with 4 points, I'm thinking I need to build some of those planes I've been losing, or I can start getting my ships going. If I built a ship, it would not get to move, so I'm leaning towards planes then. So, for example, we lost a few of our, some pretty good ones, like this P40 here costs 1. This one costs 1 for 2. This one costs 1 for 3. And is there another one that only costs 1? Sure there is. There's 2 of them, in fact. Actually, this one is a crappy one. The Royal Air Force one, I have 2 that are just superior at land attack. Those are the B-17s. So there you go. There's the 4 points right there. And 3 of those will produce next turn. So I still don't have any Navy on the board, but hopefully after next turn, I will be able to start being able to do that. And the infantry, 2, 4, 5, I could take 1 airplane away and put a battalion here, but I won't do that yet. So that's the problem. I set aside 5 supply points. That's a carrier right there. So that's the part that's hard about this, but it'd be nice to get that Navy going, but with the way this morale track works, I'm spending so much points just to get that done. Once I'm not spending 10 points on the morale track, I could be spending those 10 points towards my Navy. So, but I still have 1 more turn where I'm spending on the morale track. So it might be 2 turns from now before I finally get Navy going. I guess it is what it is. So with the pinning rule, we're going to go after Carrier Fleet 1. So let's see if we can pin them in the Marshall Islands. Oh, this transport would have landed a troop. I don't think there's any more. Okay, Marshall Islands, Carrier Fleet 1. I rolled a 4. They're going to refit in Japan. So they do go back to Japan. And this goes up by 2. Wake Island gets one of these guys, Samoa, that. That's it. Oh, he gets one. So a lot of movement's going to happen this turn, which means that the chance for midway is going to be pretty high. But then the next one we're going to do is Carrier Fleet 5. I rolled a 3, which is a hold, and that goes up to 6. But Carrier Fleet 5 is holding in New Guinea, so we have a chance to go for a kill, if that's really what we want to do. What a big cojones risk that's going to be, but that's what we can do. The next one we could do is Battleship Fleet 1, which is at least not in Japan. Or we can go after the carrier fleets that are in Japan just to prevent them from... Oh, and by the way, when that fleet did a refit, it was this one, right? So the refit would have brought an infantry and 3 planes with it. So this infantry and one of the planes would have gone with it to Japan. So that would turn the Marshall Islands like that. So I could do the Battleship Fleet 1 and get the Okinawa guys to... But you know what? I like pinning them in Japan. So I'm going to go after Carrier Fleet 4 in Japan. That's a 7 plus 2 is a 9. It's a withdrawal. So that does turn it into a hold, which hurts. So Carrier Fleet 4 is staying. And they bring with them an... Or, I'm sorry, it's a hold. So then one of the infantry is also holding. And how many planes? 3. So 3 planes are going to hold as well. Oh, and then this infantry would have been taken by the Carrier Fleet 5 because he has to refill his transports from Japan. So that was 3 of them, right? I could stop here and save the battle point. And I think I will because I'm causing them to jack up their rates by a lot. So I'm going to save the battle point. I actually have 2. I'm just going to do 3 scouting, and let's just see where the chips fall. So the biggest dilemma of all time is, do I go after New Guinea, which is easy prey? Right now it's easy prey, and then leave Midway open for a possible slaughter. They're already towards the plus 10, which would make Midway a target. I have caused 3 of their carrier fleets to be stopped. One of them, of course, is in New Guinea. I do have 3 infantry to do something with. So I think So I think what I want to do, I'm trying to think of what to do with the infantry. I have 3 of them that I just produced. I'm going to send 1 to Samoa, and he's of course going to be on a transport. And what that does is that frees up a plane to go to New Guinea. Yes, I'm throwing all my planes at New Guinea, and I'm actually going to send the other 2 to New Guinea because that seems to be... Well, actually, no, I'm only sending 1 to New Guinea. 1 of them is going to Midway, because having more than 1 infantry in Midway sounds like a good plan, right? So now the question is what do I do to defend Midway? Carrier Fleet 5 is and they got the new Yamato battleship. So Carrier Fleet 5 sitting in New Guinea, and I think I'm going to go all in on New Guinea. So if they attack Midway Island, I'm banking on the fact that I have 2 planes and 2 infantry to survive the rounds, and I'll try to adjust the battle duration by 1 if I have to. The only way they can really do damage to me is if the Carrier Fleet 3, they have 2 carrier fleets and a battleship fleet that could make Midway quite a threat. But here's the problem. If they land troops on Midway, then Midway turns red, and then Hawaii becomes a target for them. That's the problem I have with this. Ugh, it makes me so frustrated. So I think I probably need to hold something back, don't I? But what do I hold back? I mean, I really want to go all in on this. This is a very tough choice. Because really, I mean, this choice is so bad, in fact. Like, okay, there's 2 ways to look at this. This choice could be the dumbest choice I made. And if it is, I'm going to want to retcon this turn. Or it's the smartest choice I made, and I'm going to be able to take out a carrier fleet, and the rest of them won't be able to do anything about it. But here's the other problem. Some of the other ones are they're going to join a battle. Well, the only battle on the board is 1 location. So the chances are high that other fleets are going to join this battle. That's what I'm concerned about. So even if they don't go to Midway, they're going to join this battle. So a part of me maybe is we got to let them take this. So maybe I don't want to do what I'm doing. We know the carrier fleet's staying, so we know they're going to have they would win if I don't provide support. Right? There's no doubt about that. The carrier fleet's there. They're going to win this battle. So from a U.S. infantry perspective, when we're doing movement, you cannot move U.S. infantry out of an area that contains Japanese forces. So no matter what, this Australian infantry is going to have to stay there. But the other option is I just abandon New Guinea and go elsewhere. So like, for example, I can attack the Gilbert Islands, which by the time I attack them, I mean, the Japanese forces may move out of Gilbert Islands by the time. I'm going all in. Let's see how this goes. I'm reserving the right to retcon this turn. So if this turns out bad, I will move my forces back to Midway, and that's my retcon. And it's just because I don't want to set up this dang game and play through 3 turns again, just to get to the same point and make the same decision. So please forgive me, but you know, from a solitaire perspective, if this turns out to be a stupid move, I'm just going to retcon this turn, and here's how the retcon is going to work. I would abandon New Guinea. Everything but this infantry is going to leave. They're going to fly away, and all of my navy would go to Midway. Okay, so even if after we see where Japan moves, if I'm like, oh, I would have rather moved here, my retcon is they would go to Midway, and this particular infantry would also go to Midway. And all the planes cannot go to Midway, so where would they go? They would go to the Solomon Islands. Okay? That is my retcon. So after we see their moves, if they end up moving a whole bunch of fleets here and I realize, oh my gosh, this was stupid of me to do, then I will exercise my retcon, and that's exactly where I will move, because that's the more conservative way to play this game. I'm trying not to be conservative right now, and I don't want to reset up the game. so that's how we're going to do this, and I hope everybody's okay or understands the logic. So I'm saying, declaring ahead of time, this is the way it's going to be, and let's just see how it plays out now. So the first place for the Japanese is going to be Iwo Jima. So we're going to roll for them. I rolled an 8 plus a 5. They're going to go east. So Iwo Jima is moving east with 1 infantry and 1 plane. Like so. Next lowest would be East Asia. 7 plus 5 is 12. They're going south. So this guy is just moving here. Next lowest looks like it's going to be the Philippines. That's a 1 plus a 5 is 6. So they're going to refit in Japan. This moves up by 2. So Surface Fleet 3 is going to Japan, as is a infantry and a plane. And we already have markers on these. Okay. Next lowest. Actually, yeah, this is the last one. Next lowest is Okinawa. They're adding plus 10. 5 plus 10 is 15. They're reinforcing an objective with Japanese forces ashore. So even for New Guinea, odd for Gilbert Islands. And I rolled an even. So this battle already got a lot harder. Here it is. The Battleship Fleet 1 is coming. And they're bringing with them an infantry on a transport. And 2 planes? Yes. And they would have taken the stronger of the 2 infantry. So that hurts. So that got a lot tougher. I think now we're probably even. No, we're not even. They're winning. We have a lot more cruisers than they do, but they are quite formidable at this point. If one more goes there, retcon goes in effect. They do lose 8 points, or no, they lose 0 points. The reinforce action doesn't make it go down. So next up is here, the Gilbert Islands. Surface Fleet 1 just rolled a 10. They're going to Midway Island. So Surface Fleet 1 is going to Midway, and they're going to take with them 3 infantry. One of them is coming from the, well, no, both of them can come from the island. And then 2 of the planes, since they can't go to the island, they go back to Japan. And the last plane, of course, stays there. So I think we have to do retcon in effect because Midway is being attacked. And I should have known better. I really should have. So I think I said this was going to go to Midway. So I'll do that. My whole fleet goes back to Midway because that was the plan. And these planes are all going to Solomon Islands, and the Australian infantry is going to get slaughtered. Okay, so we're moving on. Now let's see what Surface Fleet 2 is going to do. That's a 9 plus a 2 is 11. They're going to support. So all that is they're moving back to there, which is fine. And then we have the 2 fleets in Japan, and only 1 plane is actually eligible. I was just getting lazy with my markers. So Japan, they rolled a 1 plus a 2 is 3. So this one holds, and so does this plane along with it, and that moves that up to 8. And then the last one is Carrier Fleet 2. 6 plus 5 is 11. It's a support, which turns into a hold because they're already in Japan. So they're going to end with resupply up to 12, but it wasn't that bad. So yeah, 2 battles, the loss of New Guinea and Midway. That's really the 2. And I understand some people are super purists and are like, you cannot retcon, you shall not do that. That's cheating. You got to see where that's like doing a scouting where you got to see where they could go. You're right. And then what I would do is I would restart the game, play it with the exact same strategy until I got to this exact same point, and then just chose to go the other way. So rather than spending the 3 hours it takes to set this game up and record 2 more videos, I'm just retconning it. So that's what I'm doing. All right, let's go. This guy lands. And let's do, so New Guinea's rule, by the way, is that an extra plane flies in from the reinforcement pool. So they get another plane added to their already ridiculous amount of planes. And so they have 3 planes, 2 infantry against our 1 infantry. The battleship fleet is adding 4 more battalions to the infantry landing. And then the carrier fleet is adding another infantry to what's landing. So it's a ridiculous number of stuff. So I rolled an 8. So that means it would be 3 battle turns. Even if I reduce it by 1 battle turn, which is what I would, I'm okay with forfeiting this one. So I'm going to just lose the, I guess some people are claiming I could play this out and see what really happens. They don't get any fortification markers, so it is possible I could somehow hurt them and at least cause them to lose a plane or something. But I would take the thing that reduces the battle duration versus the, like I could take like an artillery, which would guarantee I get to hit them once. But I'm forfeiting. I just really don't feel it's worth the time. So my infantry is gonna just die and they're gonna take the objective with a lot of troops. Now, I did talk about, by the way, that, see, because they have transports here. And I said they always grab their transports from Japan if they move to another objective. There is one exception that I figured out that you need to make. If they do an offensive action, it says bring 3 infantry with them. And those 3 infantry are going to come from this location because these orders are for all the troops, including the infantry that's at that location. So if it says bring 3 infantry with them and my transport's empty, one of those 3 infantry is going into the transport. And then if I need to get more transports, then I would pull from Japan and from the cup. So I just wanted to clarify that. I think that's the right interpretation. And 1 second, my dog brought the ball back again. And I need to take her for a walk instead of playing board games, I think. So, okay. New Guinea is done. Let's do Midway. Yeah, I'm just putting them on top of each other now because it's easier. Okay, so for Midway, I do think we're going to win this. I am not too uncomfortable with this situation. We have 1 on shore, 2 in the oven. We have 2 planes to defend with. And they have a transport here with 2 infantry. One of them is very powerful. And then Surface Fleet 1 is adding 3 more. So the transport is full of a lot of guys. And then Surface Fleet 1 itself is going to be pretty formidable here. Oh, they do have 1 sub, so it's going to go after our carriers, but everybody else is up there. There's no planes for them. That's the big issue that they have. And I have a submarine group that I'm going to put here. And I'm going to put 1 destroyer to do duty against the submarine. But everybody else is going up against them. And this should go our way. Now, obviously, number of battle turns and some battle plans could ruin our day. The one problem I have is their infantry is very likely going to land. I don't see myself doing 8 hits against their armada there. But we should be able to sink some of their stuff. The biggest concern is their submarine over here. And I don't know what I could really do to mitigate that. I can't. I just have to hope they don't hit me. And let's roll for battle turns. I rolled a 2, so that is awful. It's only 1 battle turn. And that is tough. So now I get 3 battle plan points, and I'm going to spend 2 more, so I have 9 battle plan points. So one of them, I think, is I'm going to take the adjust the battle turn, which I didn't want to do, but I'm going to do that. And then the bomb is an extra hit, so that's 3. And then we're going to do the surface attack does 1 extra hit for 1. The roll depth charge before torpedoes would be nice, but that 3 cost is way too high. We can re-roll a depth charge or a torpedo, and we can roll an extra attack for our infantry, just because I have 1 more point and I don't know what to spend it on. And it's still useful. So those are going to be our 9 points. Okay. The one that stinks the most is having to spend 3 to adjust the battle duration. If I would have just rolled better, that would have been nice. So as far as they go, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 troops, which means they get 2 battle plans. So let's see what they get. Battle plan 1 is air combat. We're very happy with that because they have no planes. And then first light, we're very happy with that because they have no carriers. That was wonderful. Okay, so excellent start so far to this one. And here's our first carrier group and second carrier group. You know, the Americans, I mean, obviously, historically, they had, I can't remember the guy's name, but the one that was able to figure out that Midway was the target. You know, they were cracking codes and stuff. So this game is missing that because, I mean, I know we guess we get to do scouting, but it'd be really nice to know, hey, they're coming to Midway. Because then you can adjust your carriers to be ready for them. So, okay. Now with this being set up like so, we start off with dogfights. We start off with us telling our planes where they're gonna go. This is a simple battle. Everything, all the planes you see on the board, without me needing to move them, is going against the coast because all they have is 4 surface ships and a transport. There's nothing else to attack. They do have this submarine, but I can't attack it with an air unit anyway. So everything, without me needing to move them, is there. There is no dogfight step, and there is anti-aircraft though. So they have, and it might be hard for you to see, but this is a 2-2-2-2. So 4 2s for them. So let's see what they get. 8-4-6, all misses, and a 1. So they do hit once, and I'm gonna have them hit our Wildcat. In fact, it has to be, right? Because of the brackets, right? But I choose the Wildcat. And so now we get to do our bomb run, and this is the big deal. Our bomb success does inflict 1 extra hit. So looking at the blue numbers, we have 2 3s and 4 4s and 2 1s. Okay, and then here we have another 3 and another 4. So 3 3s. So 2 1s, 3 3s, and 5 4s. So let's do the 2 1s first. Oh, that would have been a really nice roll. The 3 3s. There's 1 hit. Okay, for the 3 3s, and then 5 4s. Those are all misses. Oh my gosh, they were all misses. So our bombers did awful, absolutely awful. But we did do 1 hit, and I'm going to make this into 2 hits. So we sink something, and it has to be something with the lowest number, and there are 2s there. So we're gonna sink their cruiser. It's out before they even get to do anything. And next is the torpedoes. So let's start with them. They have a 3 against us. And they hit. Oh my gosh, did they hit. So that hurts. Reroll a depth charge or torpedo roll. I'm gonna make them re-roll theirs. 4, it's a miss. Yes. Okay, so then we're gonna roll our 2 torpedoes against them. And I do hit with a 2. So we're gonna hit their other cruiser and knock that down a notch. And then we're gonna roll depth charges for them. They have 2 1s. They do roll a 1, so they hit one of our subs. And ours is a 3. I rolled a 10, so that doesn't help. Okay, so next up are the surface attacks. So they have 2 3s and a 2. The 2 will be the blue die. There's 2 3s right there, so they hit us twice. What's that gonna be? I think I'm gonna choose to have the destroyers hit twice, or once each. So these are, by the way, gonna be, they still get to roll their full attack value of 2. So that's a 2 2, and 1 2 3 4 5 4s, and 1 3. Okay. So this will be the 3, and these are 2s. All misses. And then we said 1 5 4s. There's 1 hit. And all misses. But this turns it into 2 hits. Which means that we're not going to get that transport. We did do 2 hits, which means we sink another cruiser. And then we're going to damage one of their destroyers, but that's all the better we can do. And so we get to the infantry attacks phase. Our infantry can't attack anything because there's nothing on the island. And so they're going to... And I just realized something. Our destroyers didn't get hit. It was the airfield that got hit. Because it has a 1, or infantry can take the hit. I'm going to take the 2 hits on the infantry. So that saves the airfield. That infantry only cost me 1 to rebuild. So both of their hits was against the infantry in the foxhole there. So we're going to land on the beach. They're going to land on the beach with all their units. And what makes this harder to sink their ships is now they have some 0 bracket battalions. So those battalions are going to absorb the hits before anybody else. We can't hit their ships anymore with the 2 because we now have 0s on the board to hit. Now our planes can still go after their ships though, and we might just still do that. Okay, this would normally be the end of the battle, but I am going to adjust the battle by 1 and add another turn. So we're going to grab 2 more for them. Okay, the first one is they do get an advantage on their ship combat and anti-air. And then this next one I need to draw again. And they got a first light, which doesn't do anything for them. So this +3/+2 is going to help their destroyers, especially against our planes, but I'm not too concerned about that. So we got to assign our planes. And what we're going to do is these 2 planes are going to stay on the island. Our Wildcats are going to come and attack the island. This is the last round, so I'm sending my bombers, especially the torpedo bombers, against the ships. I know I need to eliminate these guys, but eliminating a whole fleet would be awesome. And I think I can, well, I do need to apply a lot of hits to these guys. So do I really want to send all my planes that way? The torpedo planes for sure, because they have a crappy ground attack roll. The dive bombers would only have a 3 instead of a 4. See, the problem is even if 1 infantry stays alive on Midway, then Hawaii becomes a viable target for them. So from a argumentation perspective, I want to bomb. Yeah, I have to. Everybody's going after the foxholes, except for the 2 torpedo bombers. So torpedo bombers is going up against their ships. Everything else is not. And they get bonuses to their anti-air roll, so yeah, I'm not going to worry about that too much with the torpedo bombers. So off we go then. We do the anti-air roll. So for them, they get +2. So this is a 3 and a 4. So the blue die will be the 4. And they both hit. So 2 hits. So one of our torpedo bombers is destroyed. And then we get to now do our attack. So the 1 torpedo bomber will roll. He misses, so all that drama was for nothing. And then 4 of them get to roll a 3 against the land targets. And those are all misses. And there's a hit. So we got 1 hit there. And then I have my 2 land-based fighters are attacking with 3s. And there's another hit. So I just did 2 hits with the bombers, which all that effectively did was kill 1 battalion. And then we move on to torpedoes. So for them, they roll a 3, they miss. We roll a 2 and a 1. This will be the 1. I rolled a 1 with this one, so I do hit with my torpedo, and I'm sinking another ship. So can't complain about that. This transport goes away. So now we roll for our surface attack. So 2 for this one. Yeah, so 2 2s, a 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4s. So let's roll for the 2 2s. There's a hit. Let's roll for the 3. That's a miss. And then the 5 4s. That's 3 hits, 4 hits, plus the hit in the beginning. We did 5 total hits with our ships. That's actually really, really good. So 2, 4, 5. And I just realized I forgot to roll depth charges. So for them, they get to roll 1, and we get to roll a 3. So we both missed with our depth charges. And then I get to roll an extra attack for one of my infantry. And we are, there's no infantry to attack, so that doesn't do me any good. They don't get to do any attacks either. So the battle is ending, and they had a damaged battalion and a infantry that remained on the island. We have 2 infantry that remained on the island, but the objective now flips to Japan. Our aircraft remains on the island as well. And that means Hawaii is now a viable target. And what that also means is I'm not going to be able to support Midway as much next turn because I'm going to have to be paranoid about Hawaii. So the retcon was necessary. I did damage them a lot. It's just that I couldn't get the transport ship, so, you know, they basically made it through. As far as repairs go, who was damaged? Just one submarine group? Yeah. So I do have to pay 1 to repair the submarine, which I'm going to flip now and just take it out of the next turn. And they have only a destroyer and a sub in their surface fleet, which is going to greatly harm them. So moving up to Hawaii here, and we're going to roll for their reinforcements. 4 plus 12 is 16. So the last ship comes out, 2 infantry come out, and 2 planes come out. The last ship is a tough one. Every carrier fleet now has 5 ships on them, so I'm going to roll a 2, 4, 6, 8. So 2, 4, 5 means he goes on to carrier fleet 3. So carrier fleet 3 is pretty formidable right now. And yeah, that ends the round. There is no Japanese. Well, the battalions, a couple of things. I rolled a 16 or whatever. You do have to remember to subtract 1 because they have a damaged battalion, and that battalion is not going to heal because it's still in the middle of battle. So it is going to stay damaged. Otherwise, it would actually go back to Japan to repair or replenish. But that's not the case here. So we are moving to July, August, and the U.S. resupply is going to allow us to move all but 1. So for example, I can take this Marine unit and this one will come down. I could do it that way. And then 3 of the planes can become available, like so. And I'm putting all of these on the West Coast. and we're getting 21 points again for July, August. Remember, I spent 1 to repair my sub, so I'm only at 20 points. I think now more than ever I need to scout. So that's going to put me down to 16, right? And then I'm going to spend 10 to finish this thing. That puts me down to 6. So I can't build any ships this turn, but I can get these 2 built for 1 each, so that puts me to 4. And then I can build 2 more planes, or I can build 2 more battalions. I think, from a planes perspective, there's only 1 plane that costs 1, so I'd have to build 1 more plane if I were to build a plane. This Mag 23 is a pretty nice one. It's got anti-air and some nice ground attack values. So I said I had 4 points. I may save them, or now that I have this thing built, let's get a battleship going, right? With those 4 points. So yeah, I'm gonna get a battleship going for 4 points. And then next turn, I don't have to spend 10 points for this nonsense. So that's, you know, we can get our ships cranked out and replace whatever we need there. Now, by doing this, I no longer have battle plan points. So do I want 1 or 2 battle plan points? And the answer is yes, I do. Okay, take this off. Let's just build 1 plane. So yeah, we'll build 1 plane for 2, and then I have 2 battle plan points. So, because if they do invade Hawaii, I'm going to need them. And so I got 2 supply points for battle plans. I paid for 4 scouting missions and all that. And I'm at an hour. So we'll do the scouting when I get back. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome.